Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a best of 5. Today we have the Korean StarCraft League Grand Final between Gumiho here in the top right spawning as our blue Terran player, and in the bottom left as our red Zerg playing for team MyG. It's going to be Ragnarok. Look at that. Is that Nova? And I actually know what I think this is Nova, right? It's one of them ghosts from the campaign for sure, at least. Maybe that's what Kerrigan looks like? I feel like Kerrigan had red hair though, so I could be wrong. Ooh, Gumiho. Starting with a cheeky little build over here. 3 Rex Proxy. As Ragnarok opens up with a hatch first in the pool. With a slightly delayed gas. Usually we see the gas go down before the pool. Ragnarok says, today I'm getting that pool a bit faster. It's going to allow him to get links just a couple, maybe 5-6 seconds earlier than he usually would get them out. Could be very helpful against this particular strategy. Well, it's going to be very useful against this particular strategy, of course, if he is aware of this in time. And I think he will just barely be ahead of this in time, as this Overlord is making its way towards where the barracks are located. If it continues flying, it's going to get that information. Also completely possible that the Overlord tries to turn around. I'm actually not sure if this is going to get the spot off. I think it's going to be a real freaking close. I guess it doesn't matter at all, as right now the bunker's going up already. Queens are on the way. We have the first 4 links being built here as well. And there is no third Overlord coming out quite yet. We have a second gas being added in, as well as a Roach Warren. So we see a Roach response coming out of Ragnarok here. First 2 Marines are popping off. 1 Marine in a little bit of trouble. We'll get helped out by these 2 SCVs body blocking links, making sure they can't quite connect with that Marine. Marine still in the front, is in the far orange already. We get a single, I think a cancel on one of these links here. Ragnarok does not want to lose those units for free. Queen is not going to get cancelled. Will finish up, snipes 1 Marine. Surely that wasn't actually worth it. It's now more links moving down. This did not feel very worth it at all. Is sneaking 3 links out going to be enough? I don't think so. Not quite. Roach Warren is done right now as 4 roaches start. 2 on the low ground, 2 on the high ground. 1 Overlord on the high ground goes up as well. Double gas still mining. With 3 racks, don't forget, it's very difficult to transition into a fast factory because your gases are extremely delayed. If you're playing 2 gas, that is a different story. But as this was, if you're playing 2 racks, that's a different story. But because this was 3 racks, your extra gases, you just don't have the cash available for it at all. And as a result, I think Gumiho here is going to be forced into perhaps building Marauders to try and survive, which is an unfortunate way to go about things. Usually a Cyclone is the preferred method from most Terran players. This bunker is still up and alive. There's no CC behind this at all for Gumiho, so honestly, if Ragnarok manages to break out here and manages to get up this ramp as well, which I think should technically be possible, I think Ragnarok is going to be in a fine location, in a fine spot here. Marine count fairly high. There's no vision on the high ground. Ragnarok needs to be very rapid with his response. Okay, it's going to go around instead. Saw a Marine. Does not want that to run by. I love that he's just poking up with this Roach first, trying to make sure that nothing weird is happening. Definitely something weird is happening here. Don't forget, this is still all of a single base still for Gumiho. As now Biles are trying to connect, will not get anything. First Ravager goes down, concussive shell kicking off as well here. Second Ravager falls, Roach now going down. Once again, Marauders trying their absolute best to connect to some of these Roaches and Ravagers. And doing pretty darn well so far. Ravagers making their way around, maybe going for a run by, trying to cut off reinforcements. Might be worth it. Queen's now moving downstairs. Roaches popping in as well. Here comes the Ravager flank. Not so sure how this is going to help Ragnarok quite. But he is going for it as 1 more Ravager is now slowed. And the second one will also go down. This looks real good for our Terran player, despite what seemed like a, well, I don't want to say a hard counter, but the Roach Warren, the blind Roach Warren, after not knowing whether it's 2 or 3 racks, is usually considered to be good against the 3 racks setup here. Ragnarok not managing to play it out in a way that puts him in a good spot though, as he's losing more and more units, just kind of snowballing out of control as Gumiho right now, as he keeps picking up individual units 1 at a time. Metabolic boost about to finish up, but there's 2 links out, there's 1 Roach out. There's 3 more Roaches on the way, as we now have a CC going down as well. Stim very close to finishing up too, as this hatchery is, well, is pretty much dead at this point. At any point, Gumiho can take it out if he wants to. For now, just wants to continue chasing roaches and lynx around this hatch, using it as a blocking object. And I think no matter what happens here, Gumiho is going to be in a fabulous position. Even if he ends up losing all of those units, he will get the hatchery. He's going to get this CC up at home. There is a Banshee on the way already, which there is nothing prepared for right now on the side of Ragnarok. Ragnarok cannot go for a counterattack because of that Banshee. So, yeah, you tell me what Ragnarok is supposed to do here, except just leave. I don't think there's anything he can do. I'm not entirely sure how aware Ragnarok is of his position, but the moment he sees the CC being done on the other side of the map and sees that there is indeed a Banshee, I think it is pretty much time to leave. Lynx are being caught in the middle of the map as well. Banshee pops out. Will, well, not quite be in range of this Overlord. So we're gonna get a Ling run by. This scan, I think, is not a good sign if you're Ragnarok either. Seeing that scan, it's like that's a scary scan to see. That's a real bad sign. Banshee gets shown. CC is here. GG gets caught. Gumiho wins map number 1 in 6 minutes and 38 seconds with a powerful 3 Rags rush. What's important to note in that game is I think that Gumiho really managed to kind of squeeze water out of stone there. It did not feel like a good situation, but he realized exactly how he was supposed to counter. Gets that hatchery, then says to himself, okay, now that I got that hatchery, it's time to get some Marauders out. I know it's going to be roaches. And I think the positioning of everything just worked out so well for him. Ragnarok perhaps made some movement errors there, with roaches being on kind of the wrong side of things fairly often. The Ravagers coming from behind being, you know, caught out as well. It felt like Ragnarok rated his army a bit too highly and didn't quite realize how powerful Concussive Shell was going to be when it came to Gumiho trying to catch individual Zerg units. So now we're in game number 2. So once again, we see a hatch first, this time with that gas before the pool. So minor switch up here. Single barracks. Reaper proxy is going to get spotted, but at this point there's not so much you can do about it anymore. If you're Ragnarok, you can't pull drones to try and get a cancel on. Well, yeah, it's simply impossible because the barracks is done. This Reaper is going to finish 100%. Bunker could go up if Gumiho cares about this. This is really just going to be about whether Gumiho cares or not. Like, if he wants to, he can 100% finish this, because there's really nothing that Ragnarok can do about this. Not for now, and not in the next 20 seconds either. He's not going to have units out. He's not going to have queens out. He can only pull drones. Drones should not be capable of clearing this. And I think usually pulling drones is considered a mistake in these situations. So Reaper can enter this bunker if he wants to finish the bunker. Very often, I see Terrans kind of build this bunker as a bait. It's like, hey, do you want to, you know, do you want to pull some drones against this, maybe? Maybe yes, maybe no. Whatever you want to do, you can go ahead. Sometimes it does finish as well. First denies a little bit of mining. At least one drone gets taken out. Sloppy control here out of Ragnarok. That should never happen if you have the ability to turn drones into spores. There's a Reaper in this bunker. There's a Queen almost done. Second Reaper is about to pop here as well. It's the factory that starts a reactor at home has finished up. Starport is on the way. We see a third depot being thrown down soon. So this is some heavy one-base play coming out of Gumiho. An absolutely fabulous build order that I haven't quite seen executed like this before. Usually you see Terrans pull out of gas to try and afford a quicker natural command center. That is not the case at all here for Gumiho, who will be forced to cancel this bunker right now. Reaper popping out on the wrong side of things will end up dying. This bad boy manages to go in towards the main base. What's he gonna try and do? Get maybe one more kill. Don't think that's going to be possible here. One SCV has gone down on the side of Gumiho. One drone has gone down on the side of Ragnarok. Ragnarok was forced into a lot of links though, so that is something. But what is the follow-up going to be for Gumiho? I think it will be a fusion core. Yep, there we go. With those double gases, it's the only thing that really makes any sense whatsoever to me. So this is going to be a one-base battlecruiser rush here out of Gumiho, and it's a build that, you know, I personally have played a little bit in the past, but I've never seen a high-level Terran actually execute this against a high-level Zerg. Like, this is not a build order that we usually see. You need to deal so much damage with your first BC for it to truly be worth it. Now, we do have this bad boy coming in, and I think it's clear as day as well what is kicking off here. It has to be Banshee or a battlecruiser. And I feel like if it was to be a Banshee, you'd probably not get a Viking before you try to rush it out as fast as you can. So this tech lab here finishing up. So we see, yeah, it's not going to be Banshee, obviously. Ooh, there's a Ling run by. Trying to get some damage done. Hellions moving in position to take that run by out. BC on the way. Queens in production. It's going to bring the total of queens up to 5. So right now there are 4 out. Do we have that tumor between the main and the net? That is real important. We have connecting tumors towards the third base as well. 36 workers to 27. Gumiho in a world of trouble. Had to halt his helium production for a little bit as well, because he was supply blocked. Still is supply blocked. Follows this up with double gases that are being queued up. Is this going to be some mass BC gameplay? Like a second starport type of stuff? It is going to be mech, no matter what you think about it. It has to be mech. The mineral eco is simply too poor for this to be a bio build. Gases never go down before extra barracks either. That is an absolute sin for the Terran players. An absolute sin. As these two refineries have now officially finished up. And I think after we see the second BC start, we are also going to see another starport. This is what I'm expecting. As this BC flies in towards the main base, there's 2 things he can do. He can go in or he can save it up. He's gonna go in because he's not a complete idiot. And now we're waiting to see what his follow-up is going to be. Gets a couple of worker kills immediately. He has the cash to start a new starport if he wants to. For now, tech lab on this factory. No secondary starport. Battlecruiser in the main base has not dealt the damage that he wanted to do. 3 queens in the natural. Spore as well helping out here. This battlecruiser is falling real low. 28 HP remaining. Painful little engagement here as a 3rd CC now gets thrown down. Look at the gas that is being floated by Gumiho. This is why I said perhaps a second starport for more BCs. Because the amount of gas he's mining, it needs to go somewhere. And so far, well, it really isn't going anywhere. 400 gas in the bank. Well, I just don't quite understand why we're mining from these very fast extra refineries and if you're not going to do anything with that gas. I don't understand it, but maybe I'm the idiot here. That is completely possible. BC makes its way back home as a Spire is now on the way. Yamato Cannon has finished up. Second BC has finished up and has teleported across the map as well. Is going to perhaps get a kill on a Queen with a Yamato. Could get a couple of kills, of course, on those drones, but killing 3-4 drones is not that big of a deal. Great Evo positioning, by the way. Blocking your queens from potentially moving here. Absolutely hate that. Don't think it's going to matter too much in this game. Fourth base is on the way. Could potentially get cancelled here. We now have double E-base coming in? Actually, end me. What in the world is this build order? Still floating 500 gas as well is Gumiho. And I am aware that Ragnarok is also floating a decent chunk of gas, but this is to be expected from someone that's playing Spire. You want to save up your gas, preemptively get it, so the moment your Spire finishes, you can get 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 Corruptors out. And that is indeed what Ragnarok here is going to be doing, as he does rebuild the hatchery immediately and also gets a 5th base at the same time. We have 2 bases. This is the worst bio build I think I've seen in my entire life. Like, this is a man that wanted to play mech, realized it wasn't possible, and then thought to himself, is it possible to still play bio? And he realized the answer to that also was no. Because this makes absolutely no sense. This is legitimately the worst build order I've seen going into bio in my entire freaking life. Like, legit in my entire life. Now, there are 10 Mutas on the way. Wait, what? Rather than Corruptors, he goes into Muta. I feel like Ragnarok didn't buy that this was going to be mech, although everything indicates that this is mech, so that is somewhat surprising. Mutas are going to get caught. Mutas usually not great against mech. Much prefer playing Roach Corruptor against something along those lines. This PC is very damaged, but is still going to go in once more, take out a couple of drones. Yamatos are now touching these Mutas, as I think 2 Mutas have fallen already. Well, I don't want to say that Gumiho has a chance, because he really does not have a chance. He has 6 Marines, without stim, without combat shield, but soon to have 1-1 upgrade. He has no serious form of anti-air. He's down 50 supply, but the fact that these are Mutas confuses me. I really would have expected Corruptors here. This is very surprising to me. Ragnarok, I guess Ragnarok saw this barracks going down. Must have seen that at some point and realized that it's Muta time. Now adds in 2 more Corruptors. as well as an infestation pit, is at 82 workers against the 64 of Gumiho, who has been floating an insane amount of gas for the past 4 minutes, due to the fact that the 3rd and 4th refinery got taken instantly as the natural finish. This seriously hurt his mineral economy, by the way, and his economy overall. Like a serious delay on the 3rd base as a result, a serious delay of of barracks of production. Now we see 2 more factories going down. Actually, and me, what is this build? I have no clue. Yamato is about to become available again, but I think we're first going to need to see recalls. Gumiho believes he can do it. Sends it back home with 5 HP. As he's still alive. I have no clue how, but it is happening. Another Corruptor goes down. These have been some fantastic battle crews. Look at this, 20 kills on this BC. We have 9 Muras and 2 Corruptors that have been taken out. I have no clue how Gumiho has been doing this. I literally no clue. Oh, this BC needs to be repaired. Does not get the repair in time. Sloppy play here from our Korean Terran player. Loses that 700 resource unit for no real reason except just being too slow. We have a fort base that is about to finish up. Now, I've been saying for a long time that I still don't believe in Gumiho's project over here. Like, this has been dead on arrival. Absolutely dead on arrival. But at this point, he really is just 4 or 5 good fights away from being in an even position. Like, yes, his eco is still balls, but the upgrades, they're becoming better. The setup, the defensive setup, if he gets a couple of tanks out, might actually be sufficient here. I'm not quite sure why we're building 5 more Corruptors. Going up to freaking 12 Corruptors here at this point. I don't understand, but it is happening. Upgrades are late for Ragnarok. Hive is on the way. This attack needs to be successful. Or if not this attack, then at least the next attack. I don't think there is too much wiggle room anymore here for Ragnarok. He had such a large lead. And slowly but surely, he's just been throwing that out of the window whenever the teacher wasn't paying attention, you know? He's been feeding his homework to his dog bit by bit. Like the first 3 pages here, the next 3 pages there. And the teacher is seeing all of this like, Ragnarok, what are you doing? Like, this is not going to be a good excuse. And Ragnarok is just continuing. Now, he's going to get hit by a mine in the middle of the map. He's extremely non-committal as well with these little move-outs. Is not willing to really engage. Well, I think that an engagement would have been great a minute and a half ago. At this point, Gumiho is practically maxed out, is about to be up 2 upgrades. I have absolutely zero clue how Gumiho managed to stay alive in this game. Except I do know how he managed to stay alive in the game. It's due to Ragnarok's incompetence mainly, I think. Just not doing anything with the massive lead that he has created for himself. And now Gumiho is in a situation where... yes, his army comp isn't brilliant. There's not enough tanks. There's not enough splash. But the upgrades are good. The eco is good. The production is fantastic. This fight was really freaking bad, by the way, for Gumiho. Like, this was... I knew his army was balls, but it shouldn't have been this bad. It should not have been this bad. This planetary is going to get blasted here. This is okay, because there's a backup CC ready. As long as the SUVs stay alive, this might still somewhat be playable here for Gumiho, who has sent both of his BCs back home. I think repaired them as well over here. Mines are helping. What is this tank doing on the low ground? This is the worst position I've seen in my life. Usually they put it over here, you know, somewhere over here. This location. There's so many good locations. No way. The low ground. I don't think that was on purpose. Once again, Ragnarok morphing a lot of banelings, trying to go in. This has been one hell of a game. My kids are never gonna believe this when I tell this to them. Then he took 4 gas on 28 workers. Went into bio. No, Daddy. Don't say more. I won't be able to sleep tonight. Alright. Not sure I'm gonna have such a bad voice already. I sound like an 85-year-old man by the time I have a 5-year-old kid. Doesn't sound like the dream scenario for me. But the Ultralisk Cavern here is about to finish up. There's a couple of mines in position. Can we get some decent micro? Perhaps the decent micro is not really... oh my god, what in the world was that? Does Ragnarok just not care about efficiency at all? He literally threw everything in the kitchen sink at that problem. And the problem kind of did fix itself. Lots of units have ended up going down. 60 new links are in production. Resources lost. Look at this. 16k to 9. He's just bursting base into Marauders. Gumiho taps out. Did he really have to? Like, this was not the worst position he's been in. I think he believed this game was looking worse than it it did in reality. I'm not saying that he could have won this game, but I mean, the map is a grass fan. Anything is possible here. Well, the score is going to be 1-1, so we're heading into game number 3. Is that type of game, you know, that we just watched, where you think to yourself, perhaps Gumiho isn't quite as brilliant, you know? I just don't understand that entire build at all. I feel like he just switched out after realizing things weren't going to work out. And he goes into double eBay pre-barracks. Literally couldn't put any pressure on his opponent the entire game. Seeing Ragnarok just kind of flounder around on you know, like a fish on the dry. It felt like he didn't know what to do with his lead. You know, it's like, oh, I'm usually never in this good a position at this point. I'm supposed to be down 30 supply. This feels weird. And he just kind of stood around. Like, a surprising game. A real surprising game. As Gumiho this time with a double Rex Reaper coming in. One of those barracks is indeed proxied. The first barracks is indeed proxied. We have a bunker going down in the front. This feels like bait again. But I could be wrong. Maybe it's not bait. Maybe this is good. I feel like if you really wanted this down, you could have probably built that slightly earlier. Maybe I'm the idiot here. Link's in a bit of trouble. SCV is going to try and turn around here. Second Reaper is nowhere close. Okay, well, that bunker is not going to finish up. SCV should probably not end up dying here, but it might. Would be a waste. I always feel like that Terrans are real careful of their SCVs, except when it comes to their SCVs they used to build proxy buildings with. You know, you just see these guys being sacrificed for free every other game. Now, it is just a simple 3 Reaper opener with a CC behind this of a single gas. So pretty fast follow-up here coming out of Gumiho. Did force out a lot of units already, so that's powerful at least. Factory going down back home. Second gas as well. One drone extra gets taken out. These two bad boys make their way in towards the main base. There's 4 queens. Currently none of them are in position. That's a skill as well. Oh. One more drone? No, Gumiho doesn't want to risk it. I think he probably could have, you know, made a quick dive on that. Decided not to. I respect that. Likes to, you know, make sure that these bad boys stay alive. 2 of them can still join Noah on the Ark. If there's ever going to, you know, be some type of end flood for the Terrans, these 2 Reapers will still be there. Bad boy is now starting to attack this hatchery. 3rd CC on the way. Starport. Not so sure what the follow-up looks like. I mean, feels like Banshees to me, right? As an amateur. Whenever I watch Gumiho games, it becomes very scary to start making predictions. I wonder if other fields also have this. You know, it's like you're like some type of psychologist or something. You know, you can. Psychologists aren't that accurate usually. They don't really make predictions either. It's like weather. You know, if you're a weatherman, it can be kind of accurate, I guess. But then certain freak events, all the science goes out of the window. I wonder if something like that exists. It's like predicting the weather on Mars. It has to be very different than predicting the weather on Earth. I don't actually know how the weather works on Mars. Do they have like rain there as well? God, there's so many things to Google after this game. Ragnarok once again seems to have maneuvered himself into a very playable position. And when I say a very playable position, I mean he's extremely far ahead currently. That's at least what it looks like. 76 supply to 52. The follow-up here for Gumiho is not necessarily going to hit very hard. The one thing I am missing out of Ragnarok is a kind of a plan. Something that comes after getting a lot of drones. Layer seems fairly late. Evo chambers aren't quick. We have 300 gas in the bank. What for? I don't know. You tell me. Creep spread, not necessarily brilliant, although the queen count is very nice at 7. About to pop up to 8. Spores are going to be in time as well for the Banshees. And there's no cloak either, so even if there were no spores, it wouldn't have mattered. We now have double Evo post layer start. This kind of seems like an improvised build, but I could be incorrect about this. If it's not improvised, then, well, once again, a fairly odd order of things. Just usually you see people either rush out the lair for the fast upgrade on the banelings to be there before the first medevac stim push comes out, or you see someone get really quick 1-1 upgrades and then slightly delayed baneling speed. Now we get both of them at the same time, and neither of them are going to be particularly quick. Baneling speed won't be in time. Oh my god, I guess you won't need baneling speed if you take every single ling out for free. This was Ragnarok's plan. He said, I'm gonna force Gumiho to move on the map without any medeffects. I'll take out all of his lings, and then I'm gonna produce more and more lings, because he ain't done quite yet. Takes out a lot of those marines. Still very far away from baneling speed though. So despite Gumiho losing a bunch of marines there, it actually felt like this entire interaction ended up going Gumiho's favor, into Gumiho's favor, for sure. Look at this, 57 workers to 57. We now have a lot of links out. We have more banelings being popped in as well. Upgrade still halfway done. Gumiho still perhaps wants to hit a timing. Don't think he can hit pre-baneling speed. Could perhaps hit pre-1-1 with combat shield done as well. We have 2 tanks that are now being sent out as creep tumors in the middle are being cleaned up. Ooh, Gumiho, this is a risky move. Do you really want to go here? Gumiho says yes. Wow, this I hadn't expected. Okay, now Gumiho says no. That I had expected, because this seems like a terrible place to attack in. It's now going towards this, well, this little streak of creep, which doesn't look that scary. I think Gumiho, I wouldn't mind if Gumiho just kind of goes back home or just chills a bit. Yeah, it's just gonna chill a bit. Sieges up 2 tanks in this seemingly random spot, but it's going to allow him to clear quite a bit of creep here. Baneling speed always scary. +1 carapace about to finish up, +1 melee about to finish up. As we do have extra barracks that have finished as well. It's going to be an 8 Rex here for Gumiho, and in that case you don't actually want to lose any of these tanks. What you want to be doing is keeping the tank count alive, getting more and more units, then going for a very powerful +2 timing at some point. And I think that is what we're setting up for here. Get a stim in. Overlords, double pickup on these medevacs. Main base has been secured though. Funny to note that Ragnarok's worker count has been pretty much stuck at low drone counts for a while. He's not been stuck at 71, but he was stuck at 57, then he got stuck at 63, and now he's at 71. It is not growing as fast as Ragnarok would want to, and we see Gumiho has now surpassed him in the supply as well. That is going to be an issue here. That's going to be a serious issue here for Ragnarok, who's also lost a considerable amount of creep. Has no active tumors towards the middle. As once again, Gumiho moves in, takes out 2-3 tumors. Now is setting up for the real push. This is what he's been building up to. Is Ragnarok ready for this? He seems completely blind to what his opponent is doing. He's not aware that there's no fort base, for example. Seems to be completely unaware of basically everything. Drop on the right side is keeping the entire army busy, as this position looks real powerful here. Gumiho is going to slightly modify this tank a bit further to the left. Banshee's going to join in on the fun here as well. Reinforcements streaming across the map. Can we get a double pickup? No, Gumiho doesn't give a crap as he boosts 2 medevacs forward to once again try and cancel this 5th base. At the same time, lots of units now trying to run through the middle, which is probably not the ideal setup. We have small portions here of bio being sent forward, while the tanks in the back help out, just trying to damage this hatchery in any way, shape or form. This is a bad rally, as here comes Ragnarok, down 20 supply, can't engage off creep, does not have the baneling count for it, needs to come from multiple angles, but is just streaming in from one side at this point, doesn't wait for +2 carapace either, and now is gonna go in, but has lost so much supply already. Does get some big hits with those banes, kills a bunch of those marines, but the tanks are still alive. The production for Gumiho here is absolutely insane. Medevacs are still around as well. We see 2 tanks unsieging, kind of leapfrogging forward over here. And I think that Ragnarok slowly but surely is bleeding out in this game. what felt like a fantastic start quickly turned sour, honestly, after that failed Ling attack on the Marines. It felt like Ragnarok initially went well, but then built too many extra Lings, lost his drone lead, and now is forced into tapping out 11 minutes into the game against Gumiho's Atrax. Alright, we have our potentially final game as Gumiho once again. This man just does not care. Opening up with a proxy, well, a double proxy actually. Single gas going down as always. It's going to be 2x Reaper proxy. Now, this time we saw a rapid response here out of Ragnarok with this Overlord scouting it immediately. He's pulling the boys. They're going to arrive. Now, my estimation here is that one of these barracks will finish without any issues. That's going to be the left one. This right one, I think, will need to be cancelled. I'd be very surprised if that one's going to actually finish up. It is technically possible, but it is so unlikely. I think this is just going to be a straight up cancel. Yeah, there we go. Gets the cancel off. 4 drones lose a bit of mining time. Is it worth it, you could ask? And I would tell you, I have absolutely no clue whether this is worth it or not. I mean, possibly it's worth it. Possibly this is bad for the drone player. You lose what? Maybe 100, 110 minerals? Don't forget that second SCV also walked across the map and had big plans for his life, building that second barracks. The build is kind of ruined. You cut a couple of workers, or at least I think maybe you don't even cut any workers with a 2x. Maybe you cut like 1 worker or something. So there is definitely an investment for it. Having to cancel that sucks. But 4 drones being pulled offline for quite a while also can't be ideal. Pull first. What's the response here? Is that correct? Yeah. Queen here is out, Lings are out, so this Reaper also will not be capable of dealing any damage whatsoever. Factory comes up behind this. This gives me similar vibes to the Battle Cruiser game. Look at this gas mining. Look at it's mad. He has 200 gas in the bank already. Starts a freaking Hellion immediately as well. I'm worried here for Gumiho. I really am worried here for Gumiho. That's 1 Marine out. That's a 2nd Marine out. Once again, full gas mining. This really does just smell like a BC opener once more. I can't imagine this being anything else. There's so much gas on the way. You could technically see Cloak Banshee, but you'd probably pull 1 or 2 workers out of gas at this point. We'll have to wait and see. If this is a Viking, I'm definitely feeling Fusion Core vibes once more. If it's a Tech Lab, it's Banshee vibes. If you build nothing out of it, just a CC. Alright. Yeah, this is not a build. This is absolutely not a build. Okay, get that Viking. Pre-Fusion Core, though. It has to be Fusion Core. It can't be anything but Fusion Core. Another depot. Every time the money gets up to high enough so that a Fusion Core can be built, feels like either a CC or see another structure. Okay, I'm shocked here. Mines. What? Armory? No, another depot. I get so excited. I'm like, oh, finally we see what path he's taking here. Just reactor mine drop? Really? Okay, well, it's allowed. I mean, there's going to be an armory with it. Like the gas here is what bothers me, right? It's like, why are we floating 300 gas? And for the people who don't understand why I'm so upset about this, is because for a long time, minerals weren't properly saturated. We had 11 guys working on the minerals and 3 in each gas. What you can do instead, if you're playing a low gas build order like a 4 mine drop is, because you hardly spend any gas, you can just pull 1 worker out of each gas. This is very common for Terran, and it allows you to get a little bit more mineral income, which in turn allows you to get a faster natural command center and maybe a faster 3rd command center, maybe a faster follow-up altogether. There's a factory on the way, so perhaps it's going to be a 2-base Mechalin. I have absolutely no clue what Gumiho is playing here. This feels mind-blowingly, I kind of want to say stupid, but I have a feeling that these... Oh, no. That was a big hit. that these mines are going to do a bit too much damage. Yeah, that was good damage. That was real good damage. 7 kills versus a 2-base Zerg. And every mine gets to stay alive. So perhaps you get to try again in the future. That's a big deal. Mutas technically should not be capable of dealing too much damage here. We have a THOR. Has my man figured out what this is? He has figured out what it is. He's going for a double THOR. A 2-base, 2 THOR all in. With 4 mines. With maybe some Hellbats. Is what I'm feeling now. This is an insane build. I'm not familiar with this at all. Like at all. And I want to see how Ragnarok is going to respond to all this. Ragnarok, well, so far hasn't scouted anything either. Blindly throwing out these 6 Mutas now. Says, hey, that's a lot of cash you're investing in Mutas. No Overseer Scout, no nothing. Viking trying to get away. He's going to get away. With murder as well, as he has 2 kills on him. Baneling speed on the way. So we now have 2 cars being built. We have a reactor going down on this starport. Okay. Wait, this is new. And I think it might work. This is the most random ragtag group of units that I've seen in my life. 4 mines, 3 Hellbats, a Reaper, a landed Viking with 20 HP, and 2 Thors show up in the Zerg natural, and the Zerg has freaking nothing. The Zerg has freaking nothing. Here come the Mutas trying to come in. The Queens get hit by these mines as well. Good Unburrow micro. Once again, Thor's doing a pretty decent job. I think some SCVs would have been real helpful here. Baneling's trying to move in to get the kills on these mines as Thors are starting to fall. More Hellbats are showing up. That's going to be hugely beneficial here as most Queens have died. And the only real mode of reinforcing, the only way to reinforce is with Lynx. And guess what Lynx suck against? Exactly, against Hellbats, especially once they're being healed by these medevacts. I think this is actually it. I've never seen a build like this in my life. Never, never, never. So now these stores moving over to, I think this is called Assault mode. Ragnarok taps out and gives Gumiho the win here in the grand finals of the Korean StarCraft League number 22. Impressive stuff. I did not quite expect this. At least the gas got used properly here in some way with those stores, but jeez, Louise, what a build. That is going to be it for me today. I hope you did enjoy this. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I'll see all of you next time for a new video. If you're a Gumiho fan, be sure to leave that down in the comments as well. And if there's any other series you want to see casted, be sure to tell me all about it. I'll try my best to get those replays. Thanks so much for watching, and bye-bye.